Hello and welcome to our very first virtual debate, Osceola 2020. My name is Rob Rosen. I'm a financial advisor here in Kissimmee. Today I will be your moderator for this debate. I'd like to start off by thanking our sponsors for this debate. Without them, this event would not take place. Our sponsors for today are the Kissimmee Utility Authority, Osceola Star Newspaper, and the Orlando Magic. So thank you for sponsoring this event. At this time, I'd like to introduce our candidates for this debate running for Osceola County Property Appraiser. First, we have Will Fonseca and Ms. Katrina Scarborough. I'd also like to introduce our panelists for this debate. We have Lewis from Univision, as well as Keith Ronan from Positively Osceola. At this time, I will give the guidelines for the debate. We will start off. Each candidate will get a 1-minute opening statement. We will then move on, and each of our panelists will ask 3 questions. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer each question. After all questions are asked and answered by each candidate, we will finish up with a 30-second closing statement from each candidate. So at this time, we will start with Mr. Fonseca with a 1-minute opening statement.
Hello, voters. My name is Will Fonseca, your candidate for new leadership in the Osceola County Property Appraiser's Office. I'm a graduate right here at Gateway High School, where I married my high school sweetheart. We have 2 beautiful children. I'm known throughout the community as Coach Will, and I feel that volunteering in numerous local organizations and my professional background has prepared me well to be your next property appraiser. I support my family as a realtor and as an account executive. Let me take the Osceola County Property Appraiser's Office into the future. I want to make it fully digital by enhancing the communication with the businesses, renters, and homeowners. We need to bring both the office out to the public where people are educated on what we do and what we have to offer. So I feel like we need a new set of eyes in our community, different from the last 12 to 20 years. We need someone in the office who's willing to work with the community more and more every day. And I'm looking to put community over politics. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fonseca. Ms. Scarborough, your 1-minute opening statement.
Thank you. I am Katrina Scarborough, your property appraiser. I am a lifelong resident of Osceola County, and I have dedicated over 30 years of my life to the community working in the property appraiser's office. I have worked in almost every department, beginning at the front desk and working my way up until I ran for property appraiser 11 years ago. Under my leadership, we have implemented an online homestead application, a fraud detection program, and a community outreach program, and won 2 international awards for using best practices. I ask that you vote to keep Katrina Scarborough for property appraiser. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on. Our first question will be from Keith Ronan from Positively Osceola, and we'll start with Ms. Scarborough this time. What we'll do for a timer is when we get to the 50-second mark, I will raise my hand, just letting you know you have 10 seconds. If you can, please, I don't want to have to cut anybody off, but I'll raise my hand at the 50-second mark. So Keith, first question, Ms. Scarborough answers first.
Hello to both of you. So glad to be here with both of you. Good luck to both of you. My first question would be, how do you stay on top of changing industry regulations and changes in tax legislation? How do you verse yourself in such a rapidly changing scenario data-wise?
I am a member of several organizations and the Property Appraiser Association of Florida, and through conferences and continuing education, I can stay on top of what's going on. The Property Appraiser Association is very involved in legislation so that we can keep on top of what's going on in our industry as a collective group throughout the state. So through that organization, and then the International Association of Assessing Officers offers continuing education throughout the year. And I am required to keep my certifications up and continue through continuing education. Every year I have to get 24 hours. So between all the organizations that I'm a part of, that's how I keep up with what's going on in the industry.
Thank you. Mr. Fonseca, same question.
To piggyback off what Katrina said, basically just partnering with the community, partnering with the business owners to make sure that if you do have something new that just came out, that we're all on the same page, we're all on the same understanding. There's still a lot to learn from the community as well. as well as making sure that you're well read, well up to date, and using all your resources within the county to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Thank you. Now, Louis from Univision will ask his first question, and Mr. Fonseca, you will answer first. Louis?
Hi, Mr. Fonseca. Hi, Miss Katrina. This is Luis Mercado, Luis Artemio from Univision. I'm the morning and midday news anchor. My question is going to be more based in the pandemic. Do you see that maybe this pandemic is going to have an impact in the value of the properties and taxes in the county?
I think what we're going to see is a lot of things come down the line from the pandemic. As of right now, being a realtor, I see the home sales pretty much staying consistent. It's almost feeling like it's still a seller's market. So I do think that within a year or two, we will see that the adjustments start to come on board on where we're seeing the people who are unemployed and unable to buy homes. And then that will eventually affect the market in a negative way. And bringing the prices down, which will then bring the taxes down.
Thank you, Mr. Fonseca. Ms. Scarborough, same question.
So with the residential market, I agree with Mr. Fonseca that we've not seen a change. The values have actually gone up slightly. There's less closings, but the sale prices are still up. The commercial market, I believe, is going to be affected. We've talked to several in the commercial market that are being affected adversely now. And unfortunately, we cannot consider that until next year because our lien date is as of January 1. So I anticipate right now the residential market, the anticipation of possible foreclosures could impact them in the next year or two. But commercial market is going to be affected most likely sooner than later just because of the hotels are not at capacity. We've got businesses that are closing down. So those are going to have more immediate impact than the residential market.
Thank you. This time we'll turn to Keith Ronan. We'll ask his second question, and Ms. Scarborough, you will lead off the answer.
So something very important to Positively Osceola, certainly the veterans and those who are serving in military. So in Osceola County, are our veterans receiving any certain exemptions currently, and what are they, and are they satisfactory, or do you see a need for that to change in the future?
Yes, veterans can receive an exemption, total and permanent service connected. They have to get some documentation from the VA. There's another exemption that is $5,000 value, which is not much in taxes. I think that could increase, but that would have to happen through the legislature. I would have no control over that. But there are those two that are available. The service connected being the most important, because once they give that documentation, they could be up to 100% exempt from taxes, the $5,000. It's helpful, but I think it should be more.
Thank you, Ms. Scarborough. Ms. Fonseca, same question.
Since running, I've been talking to a lot of the community on this issue. And what I'm hearing is that some of the disability personnel that's an 80 or 90% are complaining that it's hard to get that 100% and to meet all the guidelines to be tax exempt. So they're coming to me and asking, what can we do? And can make a plan of action so that that person is 90%? That's so close that they could possibly get almost a full exemption from the taxes. Another problem I'm seeing is that when someone is temporarily disabled, so they temporarily getting 100%, that doesn't qualify for them. And even that could last 2, 3, 4 years and they're not able to work. So if we can work together, even if it is through legislator to make this happen, that'll only benefit the veterans. And, that's what we're here for.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Luis with his second question. And Mr. Fonseca, you will start us off.
Okay. This is the scenario. This is something that I have been worried about it and happened, like, for example, in Miami. There were so many people retire, and with the amount of money that they get to pay for the high property tax, it was really difficult. There were so many, people losing their houses, but people that I mean like 65 or plus. in Osceola, there are so many people also moving that they already retire. Do you think that maybe this is going to happen and maybe the government should do something to reduce the amount that they pay in order for them to keep their houses in the future?
Based on the budget I've seen through Osceola County, I can see there would be some room for that, especially if they meet a certain income guideline that we could help them out. If you're 65 and older, there's two exemptions. One is like I believe it's called a super senior, and there's the regular exemption. So we need to be able to talk to them. A lot of seniors, when I go do Meals on Wheels at the Osceola Council of Aging, they don't even know if they are exempt, and I'm able to just pull it up on the website and help them out as much as I can. So educating the seniors is going to be a big part of that, and going to them instead of expecting them to come to us in an 8 to 5 Monday through Friday office.
Thank you, Ms. Fonseca. Ms. Scarborough, same question.
There is the seniors exemption that is in place, and each taxing authority has the ability to approve that up to a $25,000 value. And so the taxing authorities would have to put that in place. The county has a $25,000, the Kissimmee, I believe is 25, and St. Cloud is 8,000 in value, not taxes, but in value. So there is that in place, but there is an income requirement, and that is set by the legislation. So in order to help the seniors that are retired, the legislation would have to increase that maximum allowed income. So I agree that it could be a problem, but that's something that we cannot control. It would have to be up in the legislation to increase the maximum income.
Thank you. All right, moving along, we will, Keith will ask his third and final question, and Ms. Scarborough, you will answer first. Keith?
What is the biggest challenge the property appraiser's office will experience in the next 5 years in your opinion? How will you deal with that challenge?
I think there's really two challenges. The first is the effects of the pandemic and how it affects the values, especially if we have a lot of foreclosures, if the commercial gets adversely affected as we anticipate. Hopefully it doesn't go on for years. The second, and is always an issue, and I work tirelessly to try to get information out, is to let people know what kind of exemptions are available for them. We send mailers, we advertise everywhere we can, we go to community events. So that's always a struggle in trying to get the information out to the taxpayers so that they know what they qualify for. I don't know that that'll ever go away, but I try over and over to think outside the box and come up with different ways to get this information out to the public. But with the pandemic, I anticipate the foreclosures and the commercial market is going to be a challenge with the values over the next few years.
Thank you, Ms. Scarborough. Mr. Fonseca, same question.
I agree with the real estate. We're going to have to be proactive on our approach, especially that any foreclosures that's going to happen in the future won't affect us until a year, 2 years down the line. So being proactive now while we have a full budget is going to be key. Another thing, we have a growing Hispanic population. So making all of the information, making all of our forms in both English and Spanish is very important. Moving more towards a fully digital office where if you're a face-to-face kind of person, that we implement that through the way we're talking right now. Some people are busy at work and they just can't come out to the office, or they're not savvy enough or computer savvy enough. So just being proactive on what the office has to offer, being out there in the community more, not just popular events, but any event that we can get to, and we can do like a satellite office to have the full capabilities of our office and bring it to the community is going to be key.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Luis from Univision, your third and final question, and Mr. Fonseca, you will start this one off.
Why you should be the next property appraisal?
I feel that after 12 to 20 years of the same management, Osceola County needs somebody who could think outside the box and who's willing to to just go against the norm if it doesn't help the community. We don't need any more tax raises for the everyday hard worker. So I feel like I'm the person with no strings attached, that I can be out there, not only run the office efficiently, but be out there in the community and be a voice with the community and for the community.
Thank you, Mr. Fonseca. Ms. Scarborough, same question.
I believe my experience and what I have done since taking office, I've done brought a lot to the community. I've done a lot of improvements in the office through technology and getting information out to the customers. But I think that my experience working from the ground up in the office, I understand what we are responsible for and what our function is. And I think that makes me the most qualified.
Thank you. Moving on to our closing statements. We'll give each candidate 30 seconds. Ms. Scarborough, we'll start with you, your 30-second closing statement.
Thank you. With my proven commitment, knowledge, and experience, I ask for your continued support. Please remember to vote and keep Katrina Scarborough for property appraiser. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to Ms. Fonseca, your 30-second closing statement.
I would like to end by saying, over the last years, I contemplated to run for property appraiser. I familiarized myself with the laws and the operations pertaining to the office so that I'm ready to handle it on day one. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and thank you guys for interviewing us. And if you have any more questions, please visit my website or my social media at @VoteWillFonseca. And remember, I'm looking to give the community a new set of eyes, someone willing to think outside the box and put community over politics. And with your vote, we can do this together. Thank you.
Well, thank you to both candidates. Good luck to you both. Both candidates running for Osceola County Property Appraiser. So thank you to Ms. Scarborough, and thank you to Mr. Fonseca. Also, thank you to our panelist, Keith Ronan from Positively Osceola, as well as Luis from Univision. So thank you. Thank everybody and everybody at home for watching. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bless you.